morning and welcome to our community meditation. I'm Kelly Capsar and I'll be your practitioner for the day. So if you all could make sure your phones are on off or silent or, airport or whatever it is so that it doesn't ring or anything crazy during any of the following moving forward. And this meditation is a blend of spoken word and silence and beautiful music, so please let it just take you wherever it needs to take you. And we will have at least 5 minutes of silence, so welcome. First thing I want y'all to do is simply just take a breath all the way in and all the way out. Letting go of any stresses or tensions. And becoming fully present right here, right now, in this moment, in your body, in this room. And taking the breath in all the way in. And letting all of your lungs feel the breath, that divine inspiration. Letting your belly and your low back feel the breath, your breath. And letting your body feel the breath all the way in and all the way out into your hips, the muscles and the bones of your hips, including that triangle bone at the base of your spine. Your sacrum, which shares the root word of sacred. And following your breath into your legs and your knees and your feet. What do you notice if you follow your breath from your feet into the earth and letting your breath and her breath become one? Do you notice if your physical breath speeds up or slows down? And inviting your breath to move into your spine, all the nerve endings, all the bones, letting that divine inspiration move through your nervous system. With the next breath in and out, imagine your brain taking a breath, letting space into all the folds and creases of your brain. And taking a breath with your entire body, every cell, every aspect, all at the same time. Our theme this month is abundance. Our theme today is there's enough for all. So what comes to mind? What does your body feel like when you contemplate that? There is enough for all. Maybe you start and there's enough blood and oxygen and nutrients for all of your cells. me as soon as I say that. There's a part of your body that says, no, I don't have enough. So simply invite the breath in to fill up that space with all that it needs. One of the ways I've been playing with abundance this week is playing with what I can see in the clouds in the sky. Some days it's rabbits or whales, but there are abundance of clouds and abundance of things that they can become. And inviting into your awareness an area that there is enoughness, there is abundance in your world. And simply breathing into that and inviting that to expand. maybe part of you has wandered off to a place where you don't feel enoughness or you don't feel the abundance. And so bring in that feeling of abundance that you've already experienced into those areas as well, or that area. And so taking the breath, offering up gratitude for whatever showed up or didn't show up. And as you're ready, come back gently, easily, gracefully to this time, this place, right here in this room, in this moment. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for joining me for those of you online. And feel free to move around and come back in 15 minutes for service to start. Thank you.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
This is Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I'm Reverend Laura, and it is my pleasure to be here with you today. It's wonderful to see some new faces, a lot of returning faces, some faces I dearly love. Well, actually, I love them all. But anyway, it's wonderful to have you all here. And I want to say hi to everybody who's joining us online today. If you would, turn around and wave at everybody so we can give them a warm welcome this morning, too. We have quite a wonderful contingency of people that watch us online every Sunday morning and throughout the week with our YouTube channel. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, go ahead and do that. We have something broadcasting every single day, lots of meditations, some spiritual practices, talks, and different things that are happening. We have our spiritual soundscape, right? That's what it's called, yeah. Spiritual soundscape with our wonderful music from our beloved singers and musicians here, and Justin and so forth. So we are going to start off with our opening song, and then we'll do a little meet and greet. If you want to get up and shake hands and move around a bit after our song, we would love to have you do that.
Yeah,
right, turn it over to
song is
Justin.
Energy of God today, guys. So if you're comfortable, please stand and join us. Here we go. Please greet your neighbor if you're comfortable.
I know it's just so wonderful to spend time hugging on everybody and greeting everyone. It's such a great thing. All right, so we're going to turn into a more contemplative time in our service now with our practitioner, Kelly Capsar, doing our invocation. And I want to thank the other practitioners that are in service today. We have Clay T. White and Judy Petit here in person, Lynn Frankenberger, Leslie McKinnon online, Kelly Marshall in the back's online too, helping us out with all of that. So I'm going to turn it over to Kelly for our affirmation and invocation.
Good morning. Good morning. So please join me in saying this week's affirmation. You can, put it on a reminder on your phone or post it on a Post-it and stick it on your mirror, but feel free to use it regularly throughout the week. So what we're saying this week, and you get to repeat after me, and we're going to do it slowly. It is the Father's good pleasure. It is the Father's good pleasure. To give me the kingdom.
To give me the kingdom.
All is available.
All is available
To me right now.
to me right now
And always.
and always.
And let's turn within.
Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever Spirit needs of me, I will be, I will be, I will be. Here I stand. My heart is here to serve. Whatever love is leading me, I will go, I will go, I will go.
And so continuing in this moment of being, of surrender, of guidance, we simply remember that there truly is only one life, one breath, one love, one peace, one grace, and one abundance. And we see this in every face, every voice, every thing we observe with our physical senses. We see this in the clouds rolling across the sky. We feel it in the earth beneath us. And we know that there truly is only one. And so I consciously align myself with and as this one, with and as the grace and the peace and the abundance and the breath and the life. And as I know this is true for every cell, every fiber of my very being, so do I know it is true for everyone. Everyone right here in this room, everyone right here online, anyone who joins us at any moment. This is the very truth of each of our beings. And so I simply breathe into that, allowing that to remind every cell that that is the truth of who I am, the truth of who you are, the truth of who we are. And so breathing in, I surrender to the abundance. I let life be exactly what it is. I let my thoughts about what it should be simply fade into the exhalations of my breath. And for this and so much more, I'm so very, very grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for every person here, every idea, every sound that we hear. And I know that we are all here by divine appointment, for we have all said the sacred yes. And so in that allowing, in that surrender of the sacred yes, I simply call it good and very good, knowing that it unfolds in the perfection that divine is, that God is, that breath is, that life is. And I simply rest and let it be. Truly knowing it already is. And so we let it go, and together we say, and so it is. So it is.
Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever Spirit needs of me, I will be. I will be. Here I stand. My heart is here to serve. Wherever love is leading me, I will go, I will go, I will go. Wherever love is leading me, I will go, I will go, I will go.
What a beautiful way to start the morning. So this month we are talking about abundance. My talk title today is More Than Enough for All. You know, we live in a universe that has been created by this love intelligence. It goes by many names, shows up in many different ways. We can call it God, Spirit, the divine, Allah, whatever we want to call it. It's that one creative intelligence that has brought forth everything into existence. It is living in us. It is showing up as us. Its life is our life. It is how we move about the world and how we create our own experiences in the world. And this love intelligence is infinite and abundant. But yet there's so many times in our lives, and for some people it never is any other way but this, where we have a mentality of scarcity, where we believe that we live with limited resources and that not everything is available to us, that we don't have infinite possibilities. Now, this belief system is created by lots of different things. Our past experiences, the race consciousness mind, that this is how it is and everybody exists in this, that the idea that permeates our society. There's, our current situations can give us an experience of lack or limitation, and then we feel like that's the only way it's ever going to be. And we have this mentality that we can't get ahead, that nothing is going to ever change for us because of that. One of the books I'm reading this month is Abundance by Deepak Chopra. And he says in this book that this scarcity mentality lives at the surface level of our awareness. It lives at the surface level of our awareness. When I read that, I had this image of a pond that was frozen over in the wintertime. And at the surface level, it's nothing but ice. There's no fish there. There's nothing to sustain anything. It's all this ice. But when I crack through that surface level, then the world of abundance is available for me beneath it. All of the fish are there. I can, do my ice fishing, catch my food, Everything that the fish needs is in there. And so if we are working at this surface level of awareness in our lives, then it's easy to feel that scarcity in different areas of our lives. And it's not just, I'm not just talking about money. There are lots of ways that we feel scarcity. One of the things that occurs to me frequently is time. I feel a scarcity of time, like I don't have enough time to get everything done that I want to do. Or that, as every birthday comes along, I think, ooh, I have less time, And so it's like one of those things, if I keep my mind at the surface level, I can start to feel a little anxiety about that. But when I can get back under the surface to the truth, in that frozen over pond, the truth is not that layer of ice. The truth is what's beneath it. And the same thing is with us. The truth of our limitless possibilities that we have lies beneath the surface level. And we have to go in there to get it. We have to go within. We have to go deeper. We have to go into contemplation, into meditation, into quietness to hear what's possible for us beneath the surface level. But if we're just skating on that ice, then it looks pretty bleak to us. And so moving ourselves into that deeper level has been the work of all spirituality throughout the ages. You can find references to this idea in almost every spiritual text, that we have to move beyond the appearance and get to a deeper knowing of the truth that's always there available for us. And the more time we spend in the truth, the less time we experience those ideas that are on the surface level, like scarcity. In the Bible, the affirmation that we had today comes from the book of Luke. Part of it does. Part of the opening part of it. It's Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. It comes from when Jesus is speaking during the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus is speaking not to the entire population, not to everybody that's out there. He's speaking it to his disciples. He says these words, it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And when I was reading that the other day, I thought, well, why isn't he telling everybody this? We go back to this idea that we have to be prepared to hear the word, because if we're not prepared to hear it, if we haven't done some of our own inner work to hear it, it stays at the surface level. It doesn't penetrate us. It doesn't go deep enough for us to have the realization of those words. I studied Joel Goldsmith, and he's always talking about not giving information to the unprepared ear. Because there are people that it only lands at that surface level. The truth of it doesn't penetrate into that place. We have to be doing our work to get to a place where we are receptive to it. It doesn't mean it isn't possible for us to have some experience of it at the surface level, but to have a deeper, longer lasting experience of it takes more work. It's like winning the lottery. If you win the lottery, I know there's this show out there, my father used to watch it all the time, about lottery winners who lose it all because they weren't prepared for it. They didn't have the consciousness to be able to hold on to that wealth in a way that would be beneficial in their lives. They just let it go. And so some of them wound up in even poorer conditions than they were before they won the lottery, because they just hadn't done the work to get to the place where they understood the value of the money and the way that the money works in life and how they need to work with it. It was just, all of a sudden, this abundance was hit upon them, and they let it go. In whatever way they let it go. And like I said, sometimes wound up in even worse conditions than they were at the beginning. But that amount of abundance is always available to us. If we can get below that surface level, we will have a greater experience of it, a more long-lasting experience of it, an experience of it that changes our lives in a way that lasts, not changes our lives in some superficial way that comes and goes, but actually changes our lives in a way that lasts. So as we're working with this idea of abundance in our lives and having more than we could ever possibly need in our lives, there are lots of things around us that still push push us away from that idea. Religion has been doing that for many, many years, that saying things like, money is the root of all evil. Don't get too big about yourself. You got to play small. It's better to be poor, and instead of being prosperous and so forth. And that these are ideas that many of the different world's religions, not so much in their spiritual text, but more in the way that it's practiced, more in the way that the people are believing it, that then begins to put those lack and limitation beliefs onto people. Oh, like I shouldn't want for too much. If I'm wanting for too much, then I'm not in a good place here. I need to be giving everything away and not ever wanting anything for myself. This is not something that we ever believe here in Science of Mind. I can tell you that right now. We believe in this abundant universe, and it's available for everyone. But again, we have to do some work to get to that place where we do it. We have to begin to do what the Bible would say is keep your mind stayed on God. Keep your mind stayed on Thee. In other words, we practice the presence. We do our work on a daily basis to remind ourselves of this creative intelligence that is in us and moving through us and showing up as us. And so we do that in lots of different ways. Joel Goldsmith has a book that's called Practicing the Presence, and he outlines about a dozen different ways that you can constantly keep your mind stayed on God, keep your mind fresh, keep God in your thoughts at all times. He says as you walk through any threshold, you remember that God is leading the way. God, the grace of God goes before me, prepares the way. When you get behind the wheel of your car, God is the mind of every driver on the road. When you sit down to eat, you bless every hand that has touched the food, knowing that it is the hand of the divine. And so you keep your mind stayed on the divine throughout your day. And it builds that deeper level of awareness. And it stops us from living on the surface level so much. When we can dive deep into what is available within our own soul, then we get a greater experience of the truth that is in there and how it's showing up through us. So to get rid of this consciousness of scarcity, the scarcity mentality that I was talking about, we have to develop a consciousness of abundance. And so we begin doing that by, again, through our contemplation, through our meditation, through observing things around us that are a demonstration of the abundance of God. I mean, if we looked out the window right now, there is an abundance of green leaves. Everywhere, there are more green leaves than any one of us could count. That is a representation of the abundance of the universe. If we look in the sky right now, I happen to know because I was out there this morning, there are tons of clouds. Thank goodness, because the rain's coming. Cool us off a bit. When we look around anywhere in our world, we get physical evidence of the abundance of the divine, of this creative intelligence that is always expressing itself. When we look at things in our lives from a scarcity mentality, we see the limits. But when we look at things in our lives from an abundance mentality, we see infinite possibility. And in infinite possibility, anything can happen. And if we keep our mind stayed on spirit and keep ourselves at that deeper level, below the surface of our awareness, then we know that those infinite possibilities are always going to be good. They are always going to show up in our life in a good way. It may not be the way that we're outlining it. It may not be the way that we say we want it to be, but it's going to be good and for our highest and greatest good at all times, because that's how spirit works. That's how it works through each one of us. It is constantly bringing itself forth into expression through us in all these different ways in our lives. You know, there are lots of examples of abundance happening in the world all the time. But again, we sometimes get stuck on this scarcity mentality. I was listening to a lecture of Goldsmith's a couple of weeks ago, and he's talking about the Depression, the Great Depression. Goldsmith was contemporary with Ernest Holmes, so he died in 1964. He lived through the Great Depression. And he's talking about the famine that was going on in the Dust Bowl during that time, and how there seemed to be so little food available for the people there. But then he said, in several different places around the country, there were warehouses full of food. It wasn't that it wasn't available to them, it just wasn't reaching them. For whatever reason, whoever had the idea that it needed to be stored and hoarded in a place where they kept it, but there was enough food for everyone there. We often think about third world countries, and we see pictures of people starving in these countries, and it's very real. They are actually starving. But there's no reason for them to be starving. We have in this world today all the technology possible to grow food in any condition. My niece is a librarian here in town, and she runs a hydroponic lab in the library. She's got a huge cluster of strawberries right now that she's growing inside of a library. There is no reason for us to not have food for everyone in the world. It's the scarcity mentality that is holding it, reserving it, keeping it away from people that need it. Because whoever has control of the funds and the resources and so forth have decided that they need to lock it in because they are living at that surface level of awareness. They are living in a scarcity mentality. And the thought is, if I give it away, there won't be enough for me. But there's no reason that we should ever exist in having those kind of conditions in our world. We have enough resources for it. We just have to distribute the resources in a different way to allow that to happen. And again, it comes through this developing our inner knowing, our identity within ourselves, not the surface level, not the conditions up here, not being at the whims of the effect and seeing all of that happening up on surface level. We have to take that deep dive in consciousness. You know, one of my professors in ministerial school, he taught quantum physics, says that consciousness is the ground of all being. It is that from which we are grown. It is that from which we develop and we become, and from that which we live our lives. Consciousness, creative intelligence, love, the divine, God. Doesn't matter what you call it. It is that thing within us, within each and every one of us, that is expressing itself in infinite, abundant ways all the time. We just have to be quiet enough to catch a glimpse of it. And one of the things that we can do to begin to do that is by asking questions that are pertaining to our situation with the intention of getting an answer. It's a whole different story to just ask a question and hope you hear something. But if I ask a question and I intend to hear an answer, and I'm still enough, long enough, I will hear it. I will get some response. Now, it may be the first step in what I need to do, but I will hear something. I will get a response. It will move me to my next step. For me, I don't often hear it, but it is a feeling that motivates me to go. It's a feeling that motivates me to take action. And whatever action I take, I just go from that. And then that leads me to another step and another step. I find this when I'm in difficult situations and I don't exactly know what to do. If I'm still enough and I'm quiet enough, I will have an impulse to move in a certain direction, or to call somebody that I need to call, or to reach out in a different way, or to read a book. I will get an impulse to do that. And I know that that is that creative intelligence within me showing me a way that's best for me. Because each one of us hears things differently. Each one of us responds to things differently. And so we have to find that way that works for us. But to be so attuned with our inner knowing that we are motivated to take action on what's revealed is the way that we get to that deeper level of consciousness, that deeper knowing that we have in there. You know, our outward experience is a reflection of the outcome of our intentions. What we experience on the surface level out here in the world is the outcome of what our intentions were. Sometimes we have hidden intentions. We're not really consciously aware of them, but it could be that we know we should do something and we don't. I don't know if anybody else has ever been that way. I know I should be doing something, but I'm not. For whatever reason, I'm not. My outward experience is a reflection of that. So as we begin to become more aware and more purposeful about our intentions, then we can begin to live a life that is more in the direction of where we want to go, that's more in touch with the Spirit, that is more in alignment with our purpose and our, they say in Hinduism, the Dharma, our life's purpose, that we are here to be. Then we become that vessel through which it can actually unfold. But it takes practice. It takes practice to get to that. I was reading, as I was preparing for this, I often Google things, and so I was looking for scientific studies on this, and so I found a couple of interesting ones. This one, it said that the psychological studies show that having enough money will make you feel better. But beyond a certain point, adding more money doesn't help at all. If you have enough money, you'll feel pretty good because you're comfortable in your situation. But if we think all we have to do is keep adding more money and more money and more money and we'll be happier, we reach a certain level where it doesn't work anymore. And on the tail of that, I found this Gallup poll, which is a global project. They've interviewed people in almost every country. And it was on the idea of, are you surviving or are you thriving? And so people were to answer either way. They're surviving or they're thriving. Almost every country had a little bit more than 50% of the people said they were thriving, which I thought was exceptionally good. United States was 53% of people say that they are actually thriving as opposed to just surviving. But what I found was the most interesting were the 10 richest countries in the world, what we consider the ones that have the most capital in their countries. Only a third of the people are thriving. Only a third of the people in those countries reported that they were thriving. So having more money doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a more successful life. But you can reach a point where you can have everything that you need and not worry about anything more. So in his book, Abundance, Deepak Chopra has a practice that you can do to do that, and it's called Sankalpa. Sankalpa, Sankalpa. And so I thought I'd take us through this morning. It's about a 5-minute exercise here on how we can begin to live our intentions a little deeper. He says that there are 2 laws that are involved in this. There's the law of attention, which says that whatever you put your attention on grows. Okay? Wherever we put our intention, that's what's going to manifest in our lives. And then there's the law of intention. And the law of intention says the world out there obeys our deepest desires. So the law of intention says that we are going to match our outer experience with our inward desires, with our inward thoughts. So if our inward thoughts are surface level, then our world is going to match surface level. If they're deeper level, we're going to go deeper with it. And so Sankalpa is subtle intention with the resolution to act. So subtle intentions with the resolution to act. That's what this practice develops in us. It gives us the idea of what the intentions are, and it gives us the resolve to act. For me, when I read that, it felt like that me taking that step whenever I have that feeling. I have the intention in me, and then the resolution to act is me stepping forward into whatever it is that I'm doing there. And so the process goes like this. If you want to, just take in a breath, and just, if you like to close your eyes, that always helps me turn within a little bit better if I have my eyes closed. And the first step is just to be in simple awareness of what's going on inside of you. Whatever is going on inside of you right now. Just be aware of that. And as you become aware of it, try to be non-judgmental about it. Try not to attach any emotions, but just become calm and quiet inside. And now see if you can formulate an outcome that you would like to feel right now. Doesn't have to be big, just an outcome of whatever it is that's going on inside of you, what you would like to feel right now. And allow that outcome to become an intention. Usually it's with an I statement. I am feeling, and you can fill in the blank. Or I am expressing. Whatever that is for you. And then once you have your intention set, just sit quietly with it for a moment. And now once you have formulated that intention, just begin to let it go with the understanding that you are going to get a response to it. You don't have to keep your attention on your intention anymore. Just know that you are going to get a response to that situation. And then finally, throughout your day, be on the lookout for evidence of a response happening. Begin to look for evidence of whatever that intention was that you set. Just like I said, when we look outside, we see evidence of the abundance of the divine. Begin to look for it. I often find this part is the most humorous because I'm always delighted to see how Spirit chooses to show up when I set an intention for something. Like I said, oftentimes it's not exactly what I had in mind at all, but that's what shows up. And so, as I was writing this and doing all my research and everything through there, I came across a story in the book of Exodus. And it's during the building of the temple. And Moses is there, and he tells the people, stop bringing us materials and resources and more workers. We have more than enough. Stop bringing these to us because we already have more than enough. Now, can you imagine getting to a place where you are able to say in your life, okay, I'm good. I don't need anything more. I think how exciting that was. Moses then told the people to find other people to help with their resources and so forth. Imagine getting to a place where we have more than enough and that we do not need to have anything. We can actually say, stop. I'm good. I don't need any more. I think that's when we reach that fulfillment of abundance in our lives. When we can even think that idea, I'm good. I don't need anything more. As I was reading this, I couldn't help but think about our building. I've been out there a couple times this week. The walls are all framed. The entire walls are framed. The practitioners and I were out there yesterday writing blessings on the studs. So underneath of all of our wall board is going to be all of these wonderful blessings for our new center. What a joyous experience that was to be there and to just I don't know what the construction guys are going to think when they see it on Monday, but it doesn't matter to me. They're covered with love, peace, joy, abundance, prosperity, beauty, transformation, grace, growth, everything you can imagine, just covered with these wonderful ideas of the infinite possibilities of spirit. And as I said, I've been reading Joel Goldsmith lately, and so he tells the story of a business. And he says that the business is not my business, it's God's business. And I know that that's the truth for our new building and our new center as we grow it. This is God's center. It's not ours. This is a perfect idea in the mind of the creative love intelligence. And we are privileged and honored to be able to witness it unfold. And so I know that we are going to reach a point in the development of our center where we can stand there like Moses and say, we're good. Let's give this to somebody else. We have more than we need, more than we could ever imagine, we could ever have gotten. We have it. We are fulfilled with it. And now let's turn it outward into our community. That's my intention for this center. That's my intention for our community, for our building, and for everything that's happening here in the future as we develop this. We are going to be a place of amazing transformation in this community because we are working at that deeper level of awareness. We're no longer on the surface level here. We have gone deep. We have dived deep into it. And now we get to the joy and the honor of watching it unfold. And so I want you to know that with me as we move forward into occupying our building. I was talking to the contractor on Friday, and he said, we are moving along very quickly, which to me means October. I'm really happy. I'm really holding that October in mind so that we can actually get into it. So it's moving along. We received information about choosing our doors and light fixtures in the next week or so. So that they're getting to that place where they'll be putting the wall board on, and then they're going to be installing the doors, the light fixtures, and all of that stuff. And I've been in contact with the Labyrinth people, and so that's underway so we can get our Labyrinth built in our sanctuary and really have an amazing place. Our classrooms are going to be beautiful for our students and all of that. And speaking of that, we have our beloved Fran Peterson has been going through lots and lots of stuff at her house. And so she has brought some amazing and beautiful costume jewelry here. And she's selling it today, and all of the proceeds are going to the Labyrinth and Teen Room funds. So if you would like to stop in the back of the kitchen area back there, she's got it all spread out for you to peruse and maybe buy, support. If you don't want a piece of jewelry, you can always donate something too. That's always fine. We're happy to accept that. I know I'm not much of a jewelry person, but I think it's a wonderful idea. And so we're going to be having different fundraisers throughout the year to bring that about. This is our high and holy work, folks. This is what we're here for. And it is our pleasure to be able to do it, to be at place of transformation for other people. I know I'm sure most of you have come here and found something here that changed your life, and you're very eager to share it with other people. And that's what we're looking forward to doing as we move into our new building. All right, let's take this into prayer. If you're not familiar with our prayer, we call it spiritual mind treatment. It's affirmative prayer. We don't beg or barter or plead with the divine. We simply know truth. And it begins by aligning ourselves with spirit, by taking that deep dive into consciousness, and then unifying ourselves with it, speaking words of truth, and then one of the most powerful practices of all, giving gratitude and letting it go, just like we did with our intention. Let it go and watch for evidence of it to unfold. So if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Right here and right now, I know that there's only one thing happening, and that is the action and the activity of a creative love intelligence that is manifesting itself in perfection and wholeness and abundance throughout all of the world. That each one of us is that place where the divine shows up, where it makes conscious contact with the world around it. Each one of us is that vessel through which God shows up. And it does so beautifully and uniquely and perfectly, as abundance, as love, as creativity, as passion and purpose. And knowing that this is the truth of our being, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, each and every one of us is that conduit through which the abundance of Spirit is flowing easily and effortlessly. It is manifesting itself in every aspect of our life because it knows no limits. There is no lack in God. There is only this sense of fulfillment. And as it moves through each and every one of us, it delights in the pleasure to do so. It delights in seeing how each one of us shows up as it as we move about our day. And it shows up as an abundance of time, of money, of resources, of assistance, of love, of energy and health. There is no limit in the divine. And so therefore, I know there is no limit in each and every one of us. And how good it is to know this, how good it is to feel it, to see it happening in the world, to see it happening in our center, to see it happening on the face of each person before me. I know, and I am so grateful for this knowing. And so I release this word into that law, into that creative mind that says yes. Over and over and over again, it says yes, as it fulfills itself through us. I let this go, and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Yeah, I came in here kind of tired this morning. I'm feeling pretty wired right now. That's pretty good. Okay. So now is the time in our service when we share our offerings. If you're choosing to give electronically, we so appreciate that. It makes it so easy for us. You can give on our website, or you can give through our text-to-give number, or Zelle. We have a Zelle account now, too, that you can give through. If you're choosing to give in person, we are so grateful for that also. I know that's one of the ways I choose to give a lot often is in person because it makes me feel good to do it. And so if you would, just hold your gift over your heart. If you are given electronically in some way, just put your hand over your heart. And just repeat after me. This gift I give, goes forth from me. Does amazing and miraculous things. And returns to me in kind. Pressed down and overflowing. And so it is. Justin has some music for us. Oh, circulation. Yay.
All right, here we go.
Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you.
Last time.
Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Circulation.
Yeah. All right, so a few announcements today. I've already announced Fran's fundraiser in the back. Make sure you take a look at that before you leave. And I want to point out our beautiful flowers this morning. These are sponsored by Charlene Leslie in honor of, he left, Murray's birthday. Murray's birthday is tomorrow? Tomorrow. So make sure you say happy birthday to Murray before you go. These are beautiful flowers by Kaylee Marshall here. So if you're looking for a flower arrangement, make sure you talk to Kaylee, or Kelly will give you her information. She does wonderful work as a brand new floral designer. So, all right, so we are just looking forward to a wonderful week unfolding. Stay cool, folks. I understand it's supposed to be still high this week. Next week is Taizé. If you haven't experienced our Taizé service, it's really amazing. Justin and I will be sitting here intimately with, he's got his guitar and I'll be speaking, and he's lots of songs. There's lots of music in it. It's a candlelighting experience in there where you get hugs, if you like hugs.
It's all about
prayer. We have a wonderful prayer experience. It's a little different than what we do with just doing our spiritual mind treatment. So, yeah.
We've got some good Karen Drucker stuff.
Got a lot of good Karen Drucker stuff.
And you'll be happy, Jill.
Yeah, and we will have the lyrics
Jill's had a
printed for
request.
you this time. We're printing them out, so you'll have a booklet with the lyrics, so you can
We'll
sing
have the
along
lyrics
with us.
for you. Yeah.
All right, so bring a friend if they haven't experienced Taizé before. It's a wonderful, unique experience here. So, and the Leadership Council is buying ice cream for us to have afterwards, since it's so unbelievably hot right now. All right, if you would stand up. You're capable, able, and willing. We'll do our little benediction. If you want to join hands, that's great. If you don't want to, that's all right too. And just repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called abundance.
It is this thing called abundance.
Abundance is in my mind.
Abundance is in my mind.
Abundance is in my heart.
Abundance is in my heart.
Abundance is in all that I do.
Abundance is in all that I do.
I am it.
I am it.
I share it.
I share it.
And I become more of it.
And I become more
Each and every day.
each and every day.
Thank you, abundance.
Thank you, abundance.
All right, Justin, use me.
Yeah. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All right, sing it out now. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. 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 Have a great week, everybody. Please help us put the chairs and tables back. Thanks again.
Please.
Together we rise as the sun lights up